Alright, hello people, I'm the dude and this is my rant review for the movie Punisher. The 1989 version, which I didn't even know existed. Uh, it's really good. That's the short version. It's really good. It's a 1980s action movie that I hadn't already seen. I mean, that's gold, right? That's treasure, that like hidden treasure that I unearthed, that I discovered. And it's really good. So the long version with the spoilers: Dolph Lundgren, yes, young Dolph Lundgren, young, very young. We're talking about like Drago young, like Rocky young. That young Dolph Lundgren, probably even before Rocky. I can almost guarantee he looks like he's even younger than when he was in Rocky. But Louis Gossett Jr., who's really good, and it's Punisher. Okay, so Drago from Rocky, right? He's a cop. He moves to America and loses his accent completely, and learns how to make complete sentences and becomes a police detective, right? And when he becomes a police detective, he helps this drunk, old, aging, has-been cop get back to his, prime or whatever. He like helps him recover. And they become bestest buddies. And then Drago's family is murdered by mobsters. And he decides that he's going to move to the sewers. He's going to take his only worldly possessions, a Harley Davidson, and like this massive arsenal of like weapons of destruction and death, and move to the sewers, where he can better hunt mobsters for some reason. I don't know. Like the local like Motel 8 was full, I guess, and he's like, "Yeah, sewers, that'll work." So see, he makes his own little hideout in the sewers. He recruits this homeless guy who used to be an actor, who is this master infiltrator spy guy who can get any information, right, about the bad guys. I don't know how he does it, but he just shows up out of nowhere multiple times with all the information you'd ever want, right? So he's literally like a master spy, even though he looks like a homeless guy. So he shows up, gives him a bunch of information, and Drago goes on a killing spree and, murders lots of bad guys, lots of mobsters. And during the process, the mobsters get in a war with the Yakuza. Because Punisher against just mobsters isn't good enough. We gotta bring ninjas into the mix, right? At some point, he's gotta fight ninjas, right? Okay, so the Yakuza show up and they start warring with the mobsters. And Drago slash Castle slash the Punisher, he decides that he's gonna let them fight each other. And during the process of fighting each other, the Yakuza steal all the mobsters' children, which is a bad thing. And this pisses Drago off. So he goes after the Yakuza to get the children back. And in the meantime, he gets kidnapped twice, I think, escapes both times, kills a metric ton of ninjas. In one scene, he kills like 50 ninjas armed with like submachine guns and like throwing knives. And you would think if you have a submachine gun, you don't need a throwing knife, but apparently they need both because they're ninjas. So he takes out like 50 of those dudes, and he gets captured in the process because the big bad witch of the Yakuza shows up, and she uses her little like spinny chain knife thing to capture him or whatever. Something like that. She kind of throws it like a bola. I think that's the second time he gets captured, if I remember right. Then they put him on a rack, and they're like torturing him with this literally like the rack, right? They've got like his arms and legs tied up, and they're stretching him. and during the process, they find out that he's just too badass, right? He can't be tortured. So they start torturing the homeless guy, and then during the torture process, it seems to not even be phasing Drago slash Castle slash the Punisher. So they switch to a new tactic. They just leave. They just leave him there for some reason. I don't know why. I guess they just gave up. And then he escapes and goes on another killing spree, saves all the children from the Yakuza, right? Then he teams up with his arch nemesis, the boss of the crime family that murdered his family, right? The whole reason he's doing this, he literally teams up with the guy, and they go like all brosif mode together attacking the Yakuza with the guy who like who had people murder his family, right? So they team up and they go after the Yakuza, and it's a really good finale. There's a lot of gunfighting. There's sword fighting. There's spears, like naganatas. There's kung fu. It's really good. There's explosions. The homeless guy gets his own little scene in the last finale part where he's like, he drops the detonator and he has to like get his way to the detonator to blow up the panel to knock out the lights and all this stuff in time. Seems like he drops it and his time is completely off, but it ends up being for the better because right when he blows the panel is right when they were about to get shot. So it's like destiny. You can't beat the Punisher, right? He has destiny on his side. So in the very last scene, they kill off, or sorry, Drago saves. Okay, the big evil mobster guy, right? His son is the only one that's still captured, and the Yakuza lady, the leader of the Yakuza, is a woman. She has this son, and she's doing his mwahaha, like, you know, cackling laughter, I win, you lose kind of thing, because she's got a knife to his throat, the kid. And she tells the mobster guy, the guy who runs the mafia family, who murdered the Punisher's family, right, tells him to kill himself, or she'll kill his son. And before he can shoot himself in the head, the Punisher jumps through one of the walls and like chucks a knife into her forehead. Like, this is after he's been stabbed, I think, like 3 times, and he's been shot, and he's been blown up, and he's basically in shambles at this point. He got his ass kicked by these 2, like, kung fu master guys, right? Kind of like a one-on-one fight with both of them. He's got his ass just mutilated at this point. But he still has the energy to jump through a wall and save the guy who murdered his family, right? So he jumps through the wall, chucks a knife into her forehead, and then, surprise, surprise, the guy he just saved is a scumbag. And he turns on him, pulls a gun on him, and wants to kill him. But the mafia leader's son ends up saving the Punisher, right? Indirectly, he actually gets his father killed, hilariously enough. But he's like, no, don't hurt him, because, you know, the Punisher just rescued them, right? And the kid's not a douchebag, so he wants to help the Punisher. And, you know, he drops the gun, they get in a little scuffle, they both, like, fight for the gun, and the dad gets shot. And, Punisher gets his revenge. And in the very last scene, the kid picks up the gun, and it's like he's the Punisher now, right? Now he's gonna get he's gonna be focused on revenge or whatever, and he puts the gun up to the Punisher's head, and he's like, go ahead, do it, kid, get out of your system. he doesn't even care, right? He doesn't even care anymore, because he's gotten his revenge. But, short story, the kid doesn't end up doing it, and the Punisher gets away. And Louis Gossett, his best friend in the world, decides not to chase him. I don't know if he continues being the Punisher at the end of the movie. I would assume so, but then he got his revenge, so maybe he stops? I don't know. They say at the beginning of the movie that he killed like 100-something mobsters. I think it was 120 mobsters before the movie started. And during the movie, it seems like he's killed, I don't know, like 100 people. They're dropping like flies, right? He just busts into rooms filled with bad guys and just blows them all up. There's a scene where he like drops into this casino, this underground casino with, I shit you not, an M16 with like, it's full on Rambo, right? He's got like the ammo like draped over his arm, and he's just like in like slow motion, like just blowing the place up with an M16. This is an 80s action movie, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's really, really good. If you like any of the old Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme, Steven Seagal, actually those were 90s, but whatever. Any of that stuff, you'll like this. You'll like, and it's Dolph Lundgren. It's Dolph fucking Lundgren. You know, he's basically, if you look at him like his character, he's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He doesn't need to say much to be a presence, right? Because he's like 900 foot tall. I don't know how tall the guy is, but in the movies it looks like he's a tree, and everyone else is like shrubbery. You know, like they're all like ants below him to step on. He looks massive. This is also before he became like a bodybuilder, I think, because he looks somewhat human. He's not like a gigantic pile of muscle yet, right? He looks somewhat normal for, you know, a 900 foot tall giant. He's like the quintessential Nordic Swedish giant is what he is. But yeah, he goes through the movie murdering bad guys and saving the innocent. He gets to save a literal busload of children in the process of killing a ridiculous amount of people. And of course he never runs out of bullets, by the way, in case you're wondering. He always has, just enough bullets to murder everybody. But yeah, really good movie. I liked it. I don't know how I missed it. I've seen all the Punisher movies since then, and they're all crap. They're terrible. I haven't liked a single one of them. Punisher, 1989. Rant review. 2 thumbs up. Really good movie. Liked it a lot. Highly recommend it. Especially if you like 80s or like early 90s action movies, because that's what this is. There's a huge body count, and it's just one-man army style, being a badass, and, like stomping his way through lots and lots of bad guys with lots and lots of guns. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Really, really good. And Dolph Lundgren. There's not enough Dolph Lundgren movies. There should be more. I don't know why he never blew up like all the other ones did. I have no idea. I mean, why was he not, Arnold Schwarzenegger big? Or maybe not Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone could speak. He had an accent, a really thick accent, like Brooklyn or something. I don't know, but at least he could like put sentences together. But it didn't matter for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why did it matter for Dolph Lundgren, right? Why weren't they both just equally as huge? And they both played the role that they were typecast as extremely well. Really, really well. So I honestly don't know. Maybe Arnold had more inherent charm or something. I don't know. As ridiculous as that sounds. His early performances were basically just him, like grimacing his way through the entire movie. That's it. Or like completely deadpan with no facial expression at all. So I honestly don't know. I think I like them both about equally. But anyways, Rant review, The Punisher, good stuff. I'll see you guys next time. that I unearthed, that I discovered. And it's really good. So the long version, with the spoilers, Dolph Lundgren, yes, Dolph Lundgren, young Dolph Lundgren, young, very young. We're talking about like Drago young, like Rocky young. That young Dolph Lundgren, probably even before Rocky. I can almost guarantee he looks like he's even younger than when he was in Rocky. But old, aging, has-been cop get back to his, prime or whatever. He like helps him recover. And they become bestest buddies. And then Drago's family is murdered by mobsters. And he decides that he's going to move to the sewers. He's going to take his only worldly possessions, a Harley Davidson, Louis Gossett Jr., who's really good, and it's Punisher. Okay, so Drago from Rocky, right? He's a cop. He moves to America and loses his accent completely and learns how to, make complete sentences and becomes a police detective, right? And when he becomes a police detective, he helps this drunk and like this massive arsenal of like weapons of destruction and death and move to the sewers where he can better hunt mobsters for some reason. I don't know. Like the local like Motel 8 was full, I guess. And he's like, sewers, that'll work. So, see, he makes his own little hideout in the sewers. He recruits this homeless guy who used to be an actor, who is this master infiltrator spy. Alright, so hello people, I'm the dude and this is my rant review for the movie Punisher. The 1989 version, which I didn't even know existed. It's really good. That's the short version. It's really good. It's a 1980s action movie that I hadn't already seen. I mean, that's gold, right? That's treasure. That, like, hidden treasure